Let's hack our very first machine. Each machine is going to teach one specific aspect of a pen test, and we will gradually increase the difficulty as we go. This time, we are going to see the importance of scanning the services and their versions during the port scanning phase. But first, let's download Kyoptrix Level 1 from Woolhub. It's compressed as a raw file, so you might need a tool such as 7-zip to uncompress it. Once uncompressed, we need to create a virtual machine in VirtualBox. Let's click on the New button. Let's give it the name Kyoptrix 1. Set the type to Linux and version 2.2. Then click Next. Set the RAM to 512 MB, then click Next once again. Set the hard disk to Do Not Add. Let's click on Next and then Finish. Alright, we have a virtual machine, but we still need to configure it a little. Let's click on Settings. And let's disable the audio. Let's also disable USB. And now on the network settings, we have to set our network adapter to bridged. And then click on Advanced and set the adapter type to PCNet PCI2. As a very last step, let's add the Kyoptrix image. As a very last step, let's add the Kyoptrix image. Let's select it, let's choose it, and let's disable the optical drive that we do not need. Now we are all set. Before starting both the target machine and Kali, make sure that Kali also has its network adapter set to bridged, otherwise they won't share the same subnet. Once both machines are up and running, we are faced with an issue. Sure, we need to port scan our target with Nmap, but what is the IP address of our target? Well, since they both share the same subnet, we just need to figure out our own IP address thanks to the IP command, and then it's just a matter of pinging every single possible address inside the subnet for any other machine that is running on our local network. We can see, thanks to IPA, that our IP address is 192.168.1 and 112/24. So the syntax is as follows: sudo netdiscover -r 192.168.1.112/24, and once we run it, we are very quickly prompted with a list of devices running on our subnet. In my case, I currently have multiple devices running on this subnet, and for some reason, Kyoptrix is shown as PCS on my screen. First, let's quickly scan all the ports. Then let's select all those ports. Then with the ports we have found, let's enumerate them specifically by enumerating their services and their versions. Please do note that it is possible to combine -sc and -sv to just -scv. There is a ton of information to the screen, but the most important right now is to recognize that there is a pattern. We have the port number, then the service, and the version. For example, we have port 22, service SSH, and the version is OpenSSH 2.9 P2. Then we also have port 80, HTTP, and HTTPD 1320. Then we have port 443, which is using HTTPS with the service Apache 1320 and mod SSL 284 and OpenSSL 096. Of course, a 0.9 version does not mean that the service is vulnerable, but most of the time, a service that is not at least in its 1.0 stage is either very old or in alpha or beta stage, and thus it might not be good for production uses. Let's search online for ModSSL version 2.8.4 and see if we find anything about it. When searching for ModSSL version 2.8.4 and the word exploit appended to it, we are directly prompted to a GitHub page with a step-by-step instruction on how to abuse a certain vulnerability. For the time being, we are not going to go into details on why the vulnerability works. We are doing things one step at a time. Let's reproduce those steps on our Kali machine. First, we should clone the repository. Then we should install a package called libssl-dev. Then we have to enter the directory that we just cloned. Then we simply need to compile the source code of the vulnerability. And then we just need to start the program. From then on, we will be greeted with a whole list of services we should use. And we have to pick the one that fits the machine we wish to attack. In our case, it's this one, Apache 1320. You have successfully exploited your very first machine. If we run a whoami, the target will tell us that we are root, which means that we can do anything we want on it. We are the administrator. Of course, this machine was very easy, but it was not unrealistic. With this machine alone, you've just learned why it is very important to update your system and software.